Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm a little hot. There we go. That should be better. Good to see y'all today. Thank you for indulging me on my lateness. We had a meeting, whole community-wide. It was good. Just regular. We do that after every council meeting we have. But it's good, so good to see you. Good to see you, Catholic Britain. Congratulations on claiming your crown of Furstendom. You have claimed it. The slightly tardy one, but it still counts. Brayhard, congratulations, you have second. That sounds like a wild party. Glad I wasn't there. And good to see you, Hunter. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Boyo. Yeah, let's not waste time. Let's dive into some Minecraft. Otto, you have discovered the points hole. Congratulations, the points there now in the points hole. Stream Deck, please. Yeah, I got Lego question block. I've got Lego Titanic. You can't see it, but I've got the Saturn V and the space shuttle. It needed to be done. It really did. I don't know if it had to be done by you, but it needed to be done. Anyway, we were working on the... Father is never late nor is he early. He starts the stream precisely when he means to. Sure, we'll go with that. Last time we were working on the cistern, we completed the whole inside. Off camera, I continued work on the terraforming, and I've completely sealed it, except for this one portion. We get to... Oh, wait, I can't... Oh, I also got a netherite pickaxe for the first time. And now the cistern is sealed. And I added all the lamps. I think this is so cool. Oh, and a drowned did in fact wind up spawning, so I had to put a lamp down there. Oops. Let's go return the boat to, where it needs to go by the, trap door. It's hard to row in a small space. Have I heard about the new game drop coming this spring? They're adding farm animal variants, falling leaves, and biome ambience. No, I have not. I'm excited. That sounds pretty schwanky. So, I was thinking for today... So we have up here the top of the cistern, and this will be ultimately existing... Navigating the underwater tunnel with a Nightmare 1.9 boat? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your boat brushed something lightly. It broke. Anyway, so this area will ultimately still be accessible. It's just going to be like a tunnel underneath. Or like you'll be able to access this as like a hallway to get to there. Anyway, the point is the front is going to go on that side. And so the stage is going to go here. So what I was thinking is kind of starting construction and blocking out where the stage and orchestra pit's going to go, because that will then give us the ability to kind of shape out the seating ramp and then see how large we want to make the entrance and grand foyer area. So that's the plan for today. So I'm going to need some dark oak for the... I was thinking dark oak planks for the stage. There we go. Now that should start decaying. Hopefully I get 2 more saplings, at least. All right, there we go. 4, 5. Let's go. Ah, yes. The well-known apple from the oak tree. Okay, let's go grab some scaffolding. That would come in handy at this time, I believe. Oh, I also grabbed a bunch of different white blocks. So we have quartz and bone block right now, and then I can make concrete pretty easily. That way we kind of have a variety of white shades to work from for the facade. Because if it's just one color, you know, one thing, Dingo's fed kidneys. I don't know where center is. Changing how spawn eggs look. Now they're shaped and colored like the mob they spawn. Hey, that's neat. $55, so halfway point is 27 and a half. Am I doing that math right? I am. So so the 28th block is dead center, so we have an odd-shaped building here, which is fine, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay. So that's dead center. 11D16. Indeed. That looks fine. Okay. How do I want to actually construct this now? So the thing is, we have to build the orchestra pit first, because the stage is going to go on top of it. Or at least we have to block out where the orchestra pit's going to go. So... what if stage came that far out? Maybe a little farther. Hey, Britt. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so that's about... yeah, I think that's enough for stage, because then we can also... we'll actually have basically this portion be stage, and then this will have some backstage. So if we want to... Enough room for backstage? I think so. It doesn't have to be a huge backstage. Just like a... Because the stage itself will also not go the whole width. Because what I'm thinking of right now is basically... The orchestra pit can go here. And the way the stage will work is that there'll sort of be a crossbeam here, an opening on these two spots. I'm actually just going to remove these for blocking purposes, because this is going to change its material in the end anyway. So the orchestra pit will kind of start further back here. So we need to have enough height to actually stand in the orchestra pit, which would be... I don't think it needs to be much, so I think about 2 tall would be fine. And this is going to be a very interesting construction in the end for me, because it's... Normally, it's inside and then build the outside first, but this one is definitely got to be build the inside and then build the outside around it. So we'll tighten this up shape-wise in a little bit, but for now... Hey, thank you for the lurk, Hunter. You take care. Hope you have a good day. Yeah, and you can see already that, like, if you go back, if we have the access, like, backstage, you'll be able to go down here and can go underneath the orchestra area, like, all the way, and then seating will start like a block past, and it will ramp up. So you're going to be able to walk pretty freely underneath the whole thing. As busy as today is, I had a really awesome moment instead of imposter syndrome. Hey! Huge W. Okay, so currently, I think front of stage could probably be about yay wide. Then taper it off kind of like that. Ow. Wrote an almost 900-word article. Airboss reviewed it. Most of her edits were little things about changing sentence order, and she didn't short it. Hey, that's awesome. Okay. It's fun to write. Former employer at a local Catholic school celebrated 100 years. Good on them. That's awesome. Okay, so this is the main stage. Which would give us... we could actually maybe even go a little wider. Yeah, I think we could go a little wider to fill the space. So what if we did 2? There we go. I like that a little better. What are we making today? We are working on the stage. Also, good to see you, Step Zero. Hope you're doing well. So let's kind of cut out... Okay, so that's going to be the opening of the orchestra pit. I think I'm going to take the stage a little bit further back before we hit backstage, but I'm liking the shape of that. But probably needs to go back about by 2. Yeah, it's looking like a decently sized stage area. You have to imagine that there will also kind of be... I'm going to just make it a little bit wider like that. There's going to be like some... kind of like a frame. Do this in creative mode. So there's going to be kind of a frame of the stage itself. Maybe we do backstage in spruce. Make it just like a little bit darker just to especially give the illusion of it being darker back there. Let's see how that looks. Let's go get some spruce. Do I have spruce? No, I have regular oak. And acacia. I also collected a bunch of copper, because I think that'll be cheaper than gold when it comes to doing some of the decoration and the gilding. Although we will still use some gold, but, you know. Gold is expensive / rare. Well, one piece of spruce is enough to find out if we like this. Oh, no, spruce is way too bright. What am I thinking? I thought spruce was darker for some reason. Well, that won't work. Doesn't mean we can't use spruce elsewhere, but... So I'll plant a few spruce trees in this area. Just so we don't have to go hunting for it. At some point, I also want to make a pen for sheep, because that would give us wool, and I think black wool is going to be pretty critical to shaping some of this. Because I'd like to do like the walls of the orchestra pit as black, as well as some backstage area. So. Gonna put a block on top to just denote the start of backstage. Can you make curtains? Kind of. Not like full-size curtains that would be hanging down, but I can make banners, and I plan on making banners that would kind of hang from the top arch above. That would make it look... like the curtain has been raised. So we can build out to that wall. It dark. Okay, we'll put that away for now. So... I'm thinking how to design this archway. So maybe we don't have to finish it today by any means, but get started on kind of like what it might look like. Maybe not. I don't know. Now I'm trying to think like what I want to make the floor out of. Could do polished granite for the flooring. Yeah, definitely thinking can incorporate some copper blocks. Once you have those, you can do the cut copper. What would look good? Polished diorite? Do we want to do polished diorite as the floor of the main space? Do we have beeswax to keep the copper clean? Yes. Well, not immediately, but there are plenty of beehives over here, so before I place the copper, I will be getting those. Unless we wanted some to go verdigris, but I don't think I do. But I also have, that's why I have this Silk Touch pickaxe and a campfire. Also within the blocks of quartz, we can do, we'll definitely be doing some quartz pillars. Because you can pair these two. Get kind of a Doric column effect. But yeah, I think maybe polished diorite's the way to go for the floor, because I want to put carpeting down on a lot of the floor. So I'm just trying to think like sort of that polished granite style floor. Hold on. Right, that's what it looks like. I have it on my floor here. A Doric column? No. Doric. Actually, I'll need a little bit of the wood. This is very much a creation on the seat of my pants kind of a thing. So if that's the stage... I kind of want the floor... Where do I want? Use the skull and Hamlet. That's Yorick. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of misfortune, Shakespeare never knew about Twitch chat. So do I want to do the floor kind of there, or I think for I'd like it to be this lower portion, but I think that would make it too low for the actual seats. Because you want to put the front row pretty. York is a pudding? No, that's Yorkshire. Because we'll have boxes off to the side, sort of balcony, boxes, a couple of balconies worth of seating. And this is the main seating areas, so... See, and this is why backstage matters, because that's kind of the end of it right there. So if we have kind of front row seating here, because yes, front row seating is very close in some of these opera houses and performing houses. Why is it an opera house? Does it make house calls? Actually, I think what we'll do, just so this doesn't get crazy tall really quickly. Because Opera Chateau sounds snooty. I don't think the opera crowd cares about sounding snooty. I'm actually going to put 2 rows of chairs per height. Maybe even 3? No, probably just 2. First, the opera crowd cares about being snooty. They go to great lengths to ensure it. Well, that's what I mean. More that they don't care. They don't mind being perceived as snooty. Maybe let's see how far back one more goes. That should be good. Because then we can have kind of a... We'll have a standing room space and a... This is probably just going to be flat all the way left and right. I'm not going to try to curve it around this. Because most performing halls are just kind of like one steady ramp up with the aisles way down either side. But yeah, this will give us a sense of scope for where with the entrance. Because the grand entrance, the grand staircase of it all, folks will be able to enter. Great big lobby, stairs kind of zigging and zagging up, and then entrance into here. So probably at this point, I want to put... Let's put 3. Let's make it odd, just because why not? That'll be the space behind the seats, so you can kind of walk to your aisles. Then we'll have some doors. We'll have several doors, but, you know, we'll work on that. Ayo. Now, the grand staircase is going to be made out of similar white to the exterior. Opera snootiness is perfectly demonstrated when Agnes calls herself Perditax after a singing lesson. Well, I have not been to the opera lately, and I intend to fix that. And I, in fact, have a ticket to go see Barber of Seville in April, and I'm very excited about that. The door is stuck. The door is stuck. It is marked push, empty pushing. Perhaps it should be marked pull. The door is stuck. It sounds like a house song. The door is stuck. The door is stuck. Obviously, this is not all, but it gives a sense of where things start to go. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good height variation. It bugs me that there's one that I had to skip. I think spruce is a good wood for the chairs. Which I might space out, but probably not. I don't know. What do you think? Should I space it out or should I keep it as a bench? You said the door. The first half of that sentence, my thought was, the doors, wisdom, let us attend. That's probably not how they say it in Divine Liturgy, but yeah. That'd be a really weird Divine Liturgy. The doors! In the front space, everywhere else is a bench. Ooh, that's a good idea. And it's easy to remember because that's what it currently is. Let's see, where is... Let's grab some quartz and some bone. Let's make some blocks of quartz. Let's make them into stairs. More snooty for the front row. Valid. Okay, let's just kind of work with this right now. I know I don't have any white concrete. That's fine. That it levitates. I know that sounds weird, but it is fine. Because, well, that's not where we're going to have it in the end. So we do want some space underneath. But yeah, there'll be lots of space. Wahoo! Actually, no. I want it there. I want it there. So if it comes up to that as its kind of maximum height. So what if we started staircases? Oop. Nope. Double nope. I just realized a problem. I can't place anything underneath the stairs. Gonna grab one of those for now. Grab that. See, so this is ground level. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. Now we're making progress. How tall is this? Welcome to how my creative process works. So it's 7 tall. So if we did 3, a landing 3, that's perfect. No, that's not perfect. It'll be fine. Now, I'm probably going to wind up making these stairs actually wider as well in the end, but I just kind of, again, I'm doing a lot of visualization today. Just kind of planning. But I like how this is coming together. Because then you can come up, we'll have a landing, it'll be a little larger. Come up here, there'll be the doors. So that's going to require a lot more quartz. But this is where things like these quartz pillars come in now. Maybe we add a water feature to this. Like, yeah, then fill that in maybe with gold or copper or something. Where's all my copper? So before I place that, I will want to get some wax. So let's get campfire and wax you get with clippers. Where are my clippers? Thought I brought some with me. Are they back at the other base? Now the question is, do we do regular blocks of copper or do we do cut copper where it has... We can make some cut copper. Let's see how it looks. Ooh, this one has all sorts of fancy designs. Chiseled. Chiseled would look cool. Let's do chiseled. Oh, and one copper block makes 32 of that? That's awesome. I didn't know that. Oxidized copper. No, I'm not going to oxidize it. No verdigris. It's got to look shiny. Also good to see you, Gale. Hope you're doing well. Can people quit calling you? Evidently not, I'm afraid. Ow, my ankles. That's your phone number, so I can add it to my do not call list. JK. Hey, Chizo, how you doing? I don't want to be on a do not call list. I want to be put on a call me more list. I'm lonely. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I admire people, though, who take the time to keep scammers busy. Excited and anxious about next week. Ready to get back to work. Hey, that's great. The anxiousness is not so great, but glad you're able to get back to work and... But glad you're excited. See what the schedule looks like. I'm assuming they're still building back up. That I will take your word for. Okay. I'm digging that. And then, like... maybe a column on the other side of the same thing. That looks good. And then it can just be plain white, but gives it kind of a very 1920s-esque, like a very Art Deco feel. But I like the use of the bone here being an off-white, and I could probably put the bone there. And again, these stairs I'm probably going to make 2 or 3 wide, because they are the grand staircase. But that'll be what you see when you enter. Reminds you along the lines of something at the Majestic. Hey, let's go. That is what I'm going for. In fact, I was actually just at the Majestic. Or at least the Majestic in New York. I did take a picture of the stage kind of as inspiration for this project. Yeah, I like that. The Old Country Theater is the most experience I have with artsy. That's fair. A lot of those theaters are quite beautiful in their own right. So yeah, you'll be able to enter from here, although the outer wall will be right here, so I don't need to build that right now. But that'll give access that if you're underneath here, there'll be lots of room to move underneath here. And we'll probably have access backstage somewhere. They do have a better atmosphere than the city theaters have. Yeah. So we're going to definitely want to have this area be raised up. So there might actually even be... I might just have like a false wall in each corner. Because we'll have like a side aisle hallway. Yeah, have a kind of an understage hidden area. Kind of, you know, you could think of it as like, especially under here, they might use it as storage for props and set pieces. And so that'll be accessible from backstage. So we'll have stage start here. This will be backstage. Our initial seating areas. And this is the grand staircase up to the orchestra seating area. But again, we'll have a couple of, probably just 2 balconies. Because if I make it like the full, all the way up to family circle level, enough room for all the costumes. I don't know about all the costumes. I got some glowstone dust to make glowstones, because those can make nice lanterns. Nope. Nope. Tongue got stuck. Hold on. There we go. Mouth is a little dry today. Hey, Hope. Hope you're doing well. Good to see ya. I promise I'm not saying I hope you're doing well as a pun. I just say that to everyone who comes in. Anyway, the Rotata today. It's kind of odd that a healing of Jesus takes a couple of attempts, and it can seem like, well, why couldn't Jesus just get it right the first time? He's Jesus. It's like, well, that's not the reason it happened that way. It's showing us healing takes time. Yeah, we don't like hearing that. But it's true, and it's necessary to remind ourselves of that. Time, bad. Gratification now, good. Exactly! Except delayed gratification is shown to be even better. Yeah, we were talking about the healing in today's gospel. It's the one where Jesus heals a blind guy, and he's like, how's that? And the blind guy's like, everything, all the people look like trees walking around. Of which there has been much theological discourse and mystical reflection on the meaning of trees, but all my patience has been drained out of me by modern advertising and cell phones. That's not true. I know how patient you are with your baby. Let's keep working on the hill now, I guess. Let's do a little terraforming. Because I'm feeling good about where the stage is right now, and I need to let my brain formulate some thoughts on the next part. Because I think the next thing I want to do is build the archway over the stage. Your priest called that one an eye-opening experience when it came up in our lectionary. Dot. Oh, Father David. I am thinking, by the way, just really quickly, with access to the cistern, I am thinking about just taking out this one side of this one arch to fully put a ladder in. As I said on that day, that's why we call him Father. Well, he's cheating. He's got double the dad joke power because he's a father and a dad. father and dad joke. The mind wobbles. I've heard his son refer to him as father dad. That is great. By the way, all this cobblestone mess is a cobblestone generator. It was easier than just mining cobblestone to finish the wall of the cistern. Dr. Father Dad. Well, I have joked that if I ever go on for a PhD and then I will want to teach at a university and demand that and teach like a entry level, like 1,000 level course, and make it a rule that I will not respond to questions in class unless you refer to me as Professor Father Doctor. I wouldn't actually do that, but I'd totally make that joke on the first day of class and see if anyone ever actually does it. That's Mr. Professor Father Doctor to you. No, it wouldn't be Mr. at all. It's only Reverend Mr. if you're a transitional deacon. Dean Father Doctor? What if there's a Father Doctor Dean? I think you're only supposed to put Reverend Doctor if your doctorate is in ministry. Like if you're an MD, you either go by Reverend or Doctor, but not Reverend Doctor. But if your doctorate is in ministry, you can do Reverend Doctor. Mr. Hardly know her. No. No. Kit, you spend too much time around Map Hack. Someone had to, that's fair. MD Priest. Well, medicine has run out of options. Time to call on my other vocation. Well, see, you say that, but one of the guys I live with is an MD Priest. He's a palliative care doctor before he was a priest. And I think he still has, I think he keeps his medical license up. He doesn't practice on the side or anything, but, you know, just in case. You do continuing ed? Yeah, I think he does it. As far as I'm aware. I have to ask him about that. But I know he kept it up through seminary, so he definitely did the continuing ed then. Imagine keeping a license current just in case. Don't worry, technically the paperwork says I'm allowed to do this. I mean... Palliative care is preparing people to go to church one last time. I suppose that's a way of looking at it. Yeah, no, palliative care is definitely reduction of pain and suffering in terminal patients, as you put it, Sub-Zero, and is a beautiful medicinal field to work in. But I think there's also a spiritual case to be made of, heaven is the eternal heavenly liturgy. You are preparing people to enter that. As opposed to pallet care, where you just put them in storage. Boo. I'm not using my brain cell today. Too much travel. That's okay. The collective brain cell is there to share. Boom. Now we'll shape this up in the end. But oh, you saw that news just as you're about to fly. That's a fun feeling. I guess I could do these as slabs and they'd go twice as far. It's too late now, but maybe for the next set. Why is it so dark in my workshop? Why would they do this to me? This is unfair. Okay. Let's grab some quartz. Or some bone. Probably some bone, because we got more of it. Although I don't think I want bone in this archway in the end, but maybe just block it out for where it's at right now. Because we can... I'm kind of thinking this would be good as, like, maybe 3 wide in the end. That way we could do maybe the bronze thing in the middle and the etched column portion on the sides. And it would go up, over, and back down with a little bit of an arch. Not like a huge curve, but a decent one. And we could have the wall just kind of meet it there. That way we can extend backstage all the way this way. Because that gives us, what, 1, 2, 4, 5? That gives us 5 blocks to work with. We could make copper up the middle. Yeah, exactly. Or gold. We might do gold there. But this gives us 5, which we could then have, you know, 1 for a narrow hallway, and then little rooms, dressing rooms like 4 deep. I think I'm gonna dig a door. Make sure one door has a star on it. I don't think there's really a door that would do that in Minecraft, unfortunately. Well, I could put a sign, like, above the door. And make a, like, ASCII star. Plus, I'd need 2. You have your male lead and your female lead in opera. Now, here's a question. How do we decorate this stage? What opera is permanently on show? Because Minecraft has this great, like, frozen in time quality. I could make the Staircase of La Boheme. I could make sort of a sandy scene for Aida. Die Zauberflöte. That's only because it sounds funny to English speakers. Oh, the Carmen. Carmen could be good. No, I'm not doubting that you like Die Zauberflöte. I've never actually seen a production of it. I've heard some productions are trippy. Actually, we're clearing out DVDs in our house because, you know, they're just sitting there gathering dust, and we'd like to use the shelves elsewhere. Der Fledermaus. Anyway, amongst the DVDs, I managed to claim a copy of the Met's production of Puccini's Bohème. Father, I've been doing an opera about Freemasonry and some interesting implications. Look. Mozart was a Freemason before the whole don't be a Freemason thing was really widespread. Do a crash chandelier. I think I already have the cistern as a reference for Phantom, but Like, I might even go back and put, like, a little vignette down there with a, like a pipe organ. Just randomly in the cistern. References will be beaten until morale improves. Is this an episode of Goth all of a sudden? Always has been. God bless and ciao? This isn't a dating show. You're right, Chizo. I know it would have been a lot of work, but it would have been really funny if Peter made all of the emotes bald. So probably in the immediate backstage area, try and do like the layers of black curtains, if you know what I mean. So there's like, we could have like an entrance, basically blocking it off like this, so there'd be curtains on this wall, and on the back wall. I'm sure there's a technical term for those. Where are my theater nerds at? Never mind, they're in chat. I know you're there. I know because I was one too. I'm not a theater nerd. No, you were probably not. I'll come to you if I need sports trivia answered. Particularly around the hockey. I also cannot answer that. Do not like watching sport? No, but you could explain the rules better than I could. And explain the theory of like plays. That isn't trivia. It is to me. Actually, that's not where the dark oak goes. Grab one of those. Where's all the ladders I made? I'll make some more ladders. What kind of hatch does dark oak make? I don't remember. Yeah, it's a good trapdoor for this. I might change what material this column is, but probably not. Because it's fine, it's just going to be seen in this one area. But this will give us access to the cistern proper. Nope. Didn't want to place the second one. There we go. Look at that. So now we can come down and would be underneath. Get to the whole prop storage area. This will be more or less blocked off for the lobby, but this will be open, and then you can access the cistern. It's coming together. I just thought of something I want to do. I wanted to make a square trapdoor, but that's not going to quite work because we're odd. So what I could do, though... Because every opera is improved with a trapdoor. All right. Let's go get more diorite. We're going to need more of that for the flooring, so... We've a moose. Look at all that diorite, just right there. Just for us. Arky, what up? I'm your work from home buddy. All right, let's go. Let's work. How was your trip? It was so lovely. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Hanging with the gal pals. I'm thinking the roof of this opera house is also going to have a shallow dome. It's not like one that's really tall, but... more a series of concentric rings resting on top of each other, conceptually. That might be Verdigris copper. That would probably look pretty cool. I think that would be a nice way to incorporate copper on the exterior. Okay, that should be enough to start with for now. I'll get 2 more, just so I can complete that 1 stack. Serp. Serp. Probably about to there for the outer aisle, and then, like, we'll have a wall So there'll be an outside hallway to go to the grand lobby. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hola, Agostino Serafino. ¿Cómo estás? Así. Oh. Más o menos. How you doing? Beyond just so-so. Oh no! You're doing good. Glad to hear it. Ow. My ankles. New earphones came in. Let's go. What'd you get? Moondrop Golden Ages. I am not familiar with Moondrop as a company. But it sounds sweet. Bluetooth planar magnetics. Planar magnetics, let's go. Maybe I have heard of Moondrop. I don't know. There's a headphone enthusiast I follow online, and not with any great closeness, but most of the time he just winds up reviewing garbage because that's entertaining. A Chinese audio brand on par with Linsol and KB Ear. Ah, okay. Oh, that's a reason to have blocks. Well, I guess it's not, because we can make this work. Because wherever the step up will be, we can just do that. Currently, we are building an opera house. We have built a cistern below it, because why not? And now we're building out the main stage and orchestra seating, as well as doing some preliminary blocking out of the grand staircase for the entrance and the archway of the stage. It's kind of an interesting construction for me. It's outside of my usual building style, although the building itself might look very much out of my palette, but like just the actual steps I'm taking My Sydney Opera House hater or enjoyer? I think it's a fine piece of architecture. I don't know how it is as an opera house. I have heard the acoustics in there are not ideal. And that's a byproduct of focusing more on the aesthetic than the quality, but that is what I have heard. I've never been there. What is my preferred architectural style? Personally, Art Deco. I love Art Deco. Within Minecraft, I think if you were to look at enough of my super builds or giant builds or whatever you want to call them, you'd probably be able to learn, like, oh yeah, it's kind of a Father Evan thing or quirk or signature that I may not even be aware of. But I think ultimately, you know, I don't know. I have fun with it. I do like building big, as you can tell by just the facade of a single wing of the basilica. It's so big it can't actually even fully render right now. You love Art Deco. Hey, let's go. Oh, you love the gilded Art Deco frames from New Capenna? Those are all the gilded frames. Yep, other way. Of New Capenna. Like those 5 black frames back there. It's the gilded foil and the alternate artwork that is very Art Deco. I love the aesthetics of New Capenna. Want to build some Falco Spara, especially after the spoilers from Final Fantasy? Yeah. I saw the Cactuar, and it's very flavorful. And it doesn't have trample, so it's like, okay, it's actually not that scary. But it made me think about, there's just an absolutely broken green card in standard right now, and it's not even that high in the meta. There's an 8/8 trampler for 5 mana. Who thought that was an okay idea? Fling. Yeah, that is a thing. And if it's in green, there are definitely ways to give it trample. What's the Minotaur that can fling something every turn? Stout Arm? Like, he's green, he's red, but, you know. Okay, so about where would we want the steps? Thinking maybe about here would be good. Yeah, like that. Let's make it 3 wide. Because why not? I do too much that's even. It's in the name. Man, the amount of times that I get called even, and it's like, it's not that common of a name, but like, come on. But this whole construction is actually based around an odd number. The basilica is built around an even number. Which actually made some things harder for me in the end. Titus Unis Guardian. No, I haven't actually really seen a lot. I haven't had time. Green, white, blue. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from creature you control onto a second creature you control, and whenever one or more creatures you control with a counter on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Gross, I love it. And yeah, I can totally see why Spara would love that. Shield counters for days. You get an indestructible counter, and you get an indestructible counter, and you get an indestructible counter. Yeah. Nope, that's all the diorite we had. But that's a good amount. And again, a lot of this is ultimately going to get carpeted, which I know is an extra step, but, you know, it's worth it. You got to do the whole thing. What do you have? Do you have anything decent? No, no. I do like how these chiseled pieces of bronze look. I think that's a sharp look. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's coming together as like a very crisp and clean, and then like I think the red's gonna really pop on a lot of it, but make it feel very opera housey. So we will do like the column up there, or the curtain hanging on the archway, will be red, of course. But I like that the top of the cistern here is, you know, the birch, very different. Oh yeah. Contrast neutrals with a vibrant color. Let's go, brother. Yeah, and so and it will work too because we already have the copper, providing a very red hue to some of the accents. And then there will be a few pieces of the granite. There we go. Now we can get in and out of the cistern accurately. It does ruin one column or one archway, but I think it's worth it because the rest are all fine. And look how good the lighting turned out down here. Like, it's spaced just correctly enough. Nope. Where are you doing? Game? But yeah, I think I want to incorporate a little bit of granite into the archway. Just as like a throwback to the cistern. Then, of course, we'll have a chandelier. For that, I already have lots of lanterns at the ready. Then we'll have to finish shaping out the whole hill. Because we still... And then we also need to do the exterior, which is, again, a great place where we're going to use a lot of the bone, the quartz, the white concrete, especially the white concrete on the exterior. Because I think in spaces like this, we can stick to the bone and the quartz, but like the major walls will still be the white concrete. Guys, you're continuing the tradition of Catholics having great aesthetics? I think so. We have a lot of... Are you drinking milk out of the jug? I wish. No, it's my emotional support water bottle. Look at all the stickers on it, like a real millennial. Also, good to see you, Yedza. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so we still have to... We have to do the whole exterior, but that'll be the last thing. Except maybe the chandelier. That might be the last thing. It looked like milk. I could see that with the white and the shape. Anyway, we still have two sides of the hill to terraform anything on. This one's done-ish, but again, I want to do some shaping so it looks more natural. And then this one, and then curving it around, but that's already halfway done. Love Minecraft Beautiful Mode. Yeah. This is a really nice shader I found. I like it. Like, look at the reflection in the water. Just such a nice little touch. And the rays. The sun rays. But I like how this is coming together. We did a good job making this stage today. We do need to shape out the actual orchestra pit, but we'll put chairs down here and black walls so it's kind of hidden. But yeah, that is a lot of good progress for the day, and I think that's where we're going to call it as well. Do you make these just for funsies because you can, or do they serve purposes? I mean, in my mind, they serve purposes. Like, you know, you got Basilica. This will be an opera house. You gotta keep the citizens entertained. There's a trading post, but mostly it's just for funsies and for the aesthetics of it all. you know, just a little something. Oh, and there's the graveyard. Is that Basilica Gothic or Gaudi-esque? Lol. Well, it's a combination of Sagrada Familia, Notre Dame, and St. Peter's. So it's kind of like, there's a bit of Romanesque in it, there's a bit of Neo-Gothic in it. So, partly Gaudi-esque. Yeah. Enderman! I'm glad you're coming to church, but you can't just leave your junk lying around. I'm really proud of the choir stalls in particular, actually, like as a small detail. I really like how these turned out. Why didn't the sacristan pick that up? I don't know. Let's go check in on the sacristan. Are you in this sacristy? No? Okay. Can mobs not spawn in here? The mod, or not the mod, the texture pack or whatever it's called does make things look darker than they actually are in Minecraft, but yeah, I also don't know, I haven't run into that. Well, he's not here either. That is also why there are just torches randomly around. And then it has this lovely courtyard. Yeah, no Serum Blue. Not Serum Right. It's Roman Right. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to call it for the day. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I think we made great progress on the Opera House. I'm excited to see it continue to actually take shape, especially now that we've got the base layer of the cistern finished. Join us again tomorrow for Retro Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Going to be playing Freestars, the Urquan Masters. I have a lot of nostalgia for that game, but I don't actually remember how to play it. So we'll find out what that's like. On Monday, we'll be continuing our adventures in Kingdom Hearts. And then Tuesday, we will be starting Ultima 4 for Spirituality Tuesday and looking at that. So that should be fun. And then more midweek Minecraft. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Checked out the YouTube, checked out the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna send you to Broseph Lacask. He's doing a party for his 2nd year anniversary, so raid call's gonna be happy anniversary. Spam the good old classic meat morp if you've got it. But yeah, Broseph's a good guy. He's a fun guy. Celebrating his anniversary, which is cool. So yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless.